In Japanese-occupied Korea, a con man operating under the sobriquet of Count Fujiwara plans to seduce a Japanese heiress named Lady Hideko, then marry her and commit her to an asylum to steal her inheritance. He hires a pickpocket named Suki to become Hideko's maid and encourage Hideko to marry him. Hideko lives with her uncle Kuzuki, a Korean man who helped the Japanese take over his country in exchange for a gold mine. Kuzuki then uses this wealth to feed his obsession with rare books, selling forgeries to accumulate further money and books. Suki's main job is to help Hideko prepare to read for Kuzuki's guests. Returning frustrated from a reading, Hideko demands Suki to sleep next to her. The two end up having sex under the pretext of preparing Hideko for her married life with the Count. Suki begins expressing reluctance about the plan, but when Hideko suggests she loves someone other than the Count, Suki insists on the marriage. Hideko slaps her and violently throws her out of the room. When Kuzuki leaves on business for a week, Hideko and Fujiwara elope, with Suki in tow. After they cash out Hideko's inheritance, it is revealed that Hideko's naivete was part of the con. She and Fujiwara double-crossed Suki and convinced the asylum that she was the Countess to have her committed in Hideko's stead. A series of flashbacks show that Hideko's reading practice was Kuzuki teaching her to read sadistic pornography since she was 5 years old. The flashbacks show a regimen of psychological and physical abuse that gradually degrades the sanity of Hideko's aunt, who is eventually found hanging from a tree in the yard, and so Hideko takes over as the reader for the auctions. When Hideko questions the description of hanging in a book she has to read, Kuzuki tells her that he murdered her aunt using torture devices in the basement after she attempted to run away. In the more recent past, the Count realizes seducing Hideko would be impossible and instead includes her in the plan to elope and then split her inheritance. When Hideko expresses her fear of her uncle, the Count bribes her with a vial of opium with which to commit suicide so that she can never be taken to the basement alive, calling it a wedding present. Hideko demands the Count find her a girl to hire as a maid, to commit to an asylum in Hideko's place. While being instructed by the Count, who takes advantage of Suki's illiteracy, Hideko unexpectedly falls in love with her. Hideko tries to confess her love, but when Suki insists the marriage go forward, Hideko throws her out of the bedroom and then tries to hang herself. Suki saves her, and both admit to their plots. Hideko helps Suki write a letter to her family to say she has teamed up with Hideko, asking for their help in carrying out a plot to get Hideko and Suki away from the men who have been manipulating them. Hideko shows Suki the books she was forced to read, and Suki begins destroying the library. Hideko calls Suki her savior, and joins in destroying her uncle's collection. After leaving Suki at the asylum, Fujiwara and Hideko eat together at a high-class hotel, where he tells her of his past and asks her to marry him again, this time as Suki, as they have switched identities. He also reveals that Suki will be dead within a few days, causing Hideko to question Fujiwara's desires. Suki's friend Bak soon sets a fire at the asylum and poses as a firefighter to rescue her. In the pretense of recreating their wedding night, Fujiwara attempts to rape Hideko, however he is rendered unconscious after drinking wine that Hideko earlier dosed with drops from the opium vial. This allows Hideko to leave with her money. The women reunite and flee together, disguising Hideko as a man to avoid detection. Kuzuki captures Fujiwara after receiving a letter from Hideko detailing Fujiwara's deception. He tortures Fujiwara in his cellar with his collection of antique bookmaking tools and presses him for sexual details about his niece. Fujiwara makes up a story about making love on their wedding night, while a flashback shows that he watched Hideko masturbate before cutting her hand with a knife to stain her sheets with blood, refusing to consummate the marriage. When Kuzuki presses for more details, Fujiwara convinces him to give him one of his cigarettes, after which he disgustedly refuses to give further details. Kuzuki notices the cigarettes are producing blue smoke, and Fujiwara reveals that his cigarettes are laced with mercury, and the toxic gas in the smoke kills them both. On a ferry to Shanghai, China, Suki and Hideko celebrate their newfound freedom by having sex once again. Hit that subscribe button for more recaps. A small gesture to you, most meaningful to us.